At least 1,000 people could be dead in Japan's worst earthquake and tsunami. That toll can only rise. Radiation leak at quake-hit Fukushima nuclear power plant. Over 3,000 people have been evacuated. Tsunami surge hits Hawaii and northern Chile, but no damage. Tsunami advisory called off for Washington, British Columbia, and northern Oregon. And massive rescue and evacuation efforts on. The world rushes aid as at least 124 aftershocks rattle Japan. Over 6 million homes are out of electricity. Of course, yesterday we witnessed horror playing out in Japan on all our TV screens globally. You're watching the news at 10. Let's give you the other headlines as well. This is a major breakthrough that has finally taken place. The man suspected to have stalked and then shot DU girl Radhika Tanwar is arrested from Mumbai.
They have deliberately put up a weak case. I am wanting the arrest of the income tax officials and enforcement directorate officials.
And the enforcement directorate in the firing line after the alleged Hawala king Hassan Ali gets bail. The court and civil society group slammed the ED for failing to build a credible case. And after Ireland, Bangladesh upsets England's World Cup campaign. For the big match today, India versus South Africa, all of that action in Nagpur. That took place in Japan, reeling really from the aftershock. Well, in Japan, of course, that 8.9 killer magnitude earthquake that then triggered off a massive tsunami on Friday. We saw it all happen in front of us. These are visuals that most of us were horrified to be seeing playing out in front of us yesterday. All of this happening in northeast Japan. The devastation is unprecedented. 398 are confirmed dead. 805 are missing, says the Kyodo News Agency. Over 10,000 people have been displaced. Rail, road, and air services have been disrupted. An oil refinery burning in Chiba. A dam washed away thousands of homes, and of course a series of 124 aftershocks have jarred the country, including one of a deadly 7.1 magnitude. Now the quake also triggered giant tsunami waves all the way to Hawaii and the US West Coast. Advisories have been issued in 50 countries and territories along the Pacific Basin and Latin America. The first tsunami waves reached northern Chile, but no damage was reported. Remember, this is something that was being watched out globally. Okay, well, we also know that Japan confirmed that a radioactive leak did happen at the quake-hit Fukushima plant, which is 250 kilometers south of Tokyo. This is the first case of a leak since the disaster. Radiation levels rose to an unusually high level as the cooling systems were knocked out. The government declared its first ever state of emergency at 5 nuclear reactors. A massive relief mission has been launched. 3,000 people have been evacuated as well. The global community is watching the situation very closely.
We've ordered a 10-kilometer exclusion zone around the facility. I'm going there with experts from the industry to talk with the people responsible on the ground and to grasp how the situation is. On this basis, we will make the necessary decisions.
Well, the impact, of course, of the oil refinery, of that quake was massive. We're just going to show you an eye report of an oil refinery northeast of Tokyo. This is what one of the citizens caught on camera.
Oh, it just blew up. Woo! Woo! This is crazy. Woo! Look at it. I'm back. Do y'all see this?
And then it didn't stop. And then it got a little bit worse, so I went to stand outside in between the two buildings. And the clanking you hear is actually the canisters of natural gas banging against each other. And that's when I said, oh my God, the building is going to fall. I said that just before because it had never made that sound. It sounded like a shotgun or a freight train going off, just boom.
Okay, well, you're seeing that I report. You can see the kind of impact this earthquake had. This is just one bit of that. Rescue efforts, of course, had begun right after that quake hit. The rescue really focused towards a country that experienced at least 125 aftershocks since that one terrifying one. And of course, out of those, there was one that was 7.1 magnitude in one of the worst hit residential areas. People buried under rubble could be heard calling out for help and asking when they could be saved. And at a hospital, staff trapped inside waving banners with the words food and help from a rooftop. A real horror playing out. Well, at this time, of course, it's the international community that is also really trying to help out as much as possibly can. Relief material is being sent into the country. Medical aid workers from Germany have set out for Japan. First aid material is what they have with them. The U.S. has also sent disaster relief kits aboard the USS Blue Ridge ship after Obama pledged humanitarian assistance. India has also offered to help.
The reality of what happened in Japan Friday is just beginning to set in. A monstrous tsunami slammed ashore, sweeping away entire neighborhoods and washing out highways as far as 6 miles from the coast. It was triggered by an 8.9 magnitude earthquake.
Oh my God, the building's gonna fall!
The experience was like trying to stand up on a skateboard on a carnival ride.
It's the most powerful earthquake to strike the region in at least a century. Fast-moving fires erupted, transit came to a halt, thousands were evacuated to higher ground. Others are forced to wait for help. Powerful aftershocks rattled the country well into Friday night and early Saturday morning.
There's a great sense of unease as to whether it is safe to be inside.
Tsunami warnings were issued for more than 50 countries. Across the Pacific Ocean, Hawaii and the west coast of the United States prepared for their own brush with the potentially catastrophic waves.
We are not taking any chances.
The impact was minimal. The United States offered condolences and support.
Our hearts go out to our friends in Japan and across the region, and we're going to stand with them as they recover and rebuild from this tragedy.
International relief efforts are beginning to mobilize as the Japanese government scrambles to assess the extent of damage and begin what is expected to be a very long recovery process. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
Of course, one worker of the Fukushima nuclear plant has gone missing. His family is worried. This is what they said to CNN's Anderson Cooper.
So, Janie, when was the last time you talked to your husband, Danny?
That was at 6:47 this morning, our time.
You haven't heard any word from him since then?
No, not a word. I've been sitting by the phone patiently waiting to hear from him. The 12-hour time is up. I thought I was looking to maybe get a call if they could get any type of communication at daybreak, but nothing yet.
Where was he when the quake hit?
He was at Fukushima nuclear power plant.
He was inside the plant working there?
Right.
And what did he say it was like? And when I know he got one call through to you. What did he say happened?
The quake hit. It was they're used to the quakes. This one was different. It was hard. It was shaking the building. They knew this was different. It's something they've never experienced before. Even the local people who work and live there were getting scared, starting to panic. They called to evacuate. When the buildings were shaking, the lights were falling from the ceiling. He said the glass was going everywhere. They had the insulation, the ductwork, everything was falling and coming down. It was very dangerous. They had the big cranes were starting to sway. They knew it was a dangerous situation. They called for evacuation, get them out. They were leaving to go outside where it's safer to get from anything to falling on them. He had to go through, a lot of them had changed, which they changed suiting, and they weren't totally in their dress attire to go out yet. That was why he was going through. He said they just running out as fast as they could.
So people running out, even not fully clothed, just whatever they had with them.
Whatever they had, just get out.
Just a note on Fukushima, that's that power failure, that's where there was that power failure that triggered a problem in the cooling system and causing that radiation level to go up to the reactors to at least 1,000 times normal. There'll be more when I come back.